Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Doctor Who review, episode 71. We are now back to classic Doctor Who, and we'll remain there for quite a while. And you might be curious, am I going to do any more current Doctor Who? Depends on which one. I do own the entirety of not only the Jodie Whittaker, I also own the Peter Capaldi run. Yes, a run I watched pretty much when it was on the air. All except for one story. Yeah, there was one Christmas special, not the last one we featured, the one we generated Jodie Whittaker. The year prior, I have not seen that one. So, I could watch it anytime. So, in the case of this one, this one was never completed at the time it was shot, back in 1979, because of a labor strike. What story am I talking about? Shada! If you're curious where that comes from, oh my gosh. I got that from Nash, basically. Hearing him say it that way. What he did was with the horns of Naimon. Yes, because he kept saying Shada that way. If you're curious, what the heck is Shada? The Time Lord prison for criminals. Yes, a prison that was never mentioned before or after the story came out. It's like it was completely forgotten. Of course, this doctor is, of course, Tom Baker, and the companion is run and played by Leela Ward, a woman who Tom Baker would later marry 3 years after this story came out. Yes, they got married. And here's something that probably the reason why that Romana left the show, probably because she got tired of being depicted as sort of a damsel in distress. So here's the thing with her. This was supposed to come out as the finale for Tom Baker's penultimate season. But they did shoot a lot of stuff for this thing. So basically they filmed, this version I own here is the anime restoration version, where it basically filmed scenes that were never didn't have time to film. And by the way, the writer of this one is Douglas Adams. And if I read, he did, apparently when we signed over DVD, VHS back in the 90s, it was by mistake. So he donated all his royalties to Comic Relief, a charity, which that was nice of him to do. And apparently he was embarrassed by this one. So we start off basically we start off at Cambridge. Yes, Cambridge. Probably the UK version because basically, well, they're all drinking tea. So we have this guy named Peters who basically goes around looking for this room 314, and of course he finds it. This professor he's looking for books about chronology. I think he's supposed to be a physicist. He does understand science really well. It's almost like he's the human companion for this whole story. Him along with the woman Clara, which that seems like a very popular name in Doctor Who, because this is one of 3 characters I ever heard with named Clara. One of whom was an actual companion for the 11th Doctor during his last season of the show, and during Peter Capaldi's first 2 seasons before she got killed off at the end of it. So, and we see the TARDIS just happily sitting in this guy's room. Apparently his guy's own kitchen. Yes. Somehow this room has got a big library, and it's kind of like a library sitting room and probably its own kitchen. So my guess is this is the only 3 rooms we possibly have. We have the main city with the library, we have a kitchen, and possibly his bedroom. Though it's actually real, this guy is a Time Lord. And this room is actually his TARDIS. Because he couldn't advertise him, so why not live in one? Yep. Yeah, and they reveal this TARDIS about partway through the story. In case you're curious, though, this story is 2.5 hours. Yeah, it was supposed to be episode 209, but yeah, that proved not to be the case. The actual 209th episode of the series for Doctor Who was The Leisurely Hive, which was the start of season 18 of the show. It's a very weird episode. Some of the episodes for Tom Baker's one were just really weird. One was very somewhat had a minor criticisms for, but he had some most weirdest stories. And it seems as though during his era, He didn't have many returning, let's say, classic monsters. He fought Daleks twice. He fought the Cybermen once. He fought the Centaurans frickin' twice. And he fought the Master a couple times. A lot of the time, it's basically him just wandering around counting various aliens. Yes, so we also, this other part of the story, have this guy named Shikita. How do you pronounce this guy's name here? It is Shigara. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the actress who plays her is a woman by the name of Victoria Bergheim, which means by the time the story came out, which was 1979, she was born in 1953, so she was roughly about 24? No, 26 years old when she played this character. Yep. And she had voiceover actress Susan Harker, who voiced her in a webcast version, which this one does have per se, but I have not had a chance to still watch it per se. I may review it in the future. Possibly. Yes. Yeah, so the whole thing with this one. Oh, by the way, there's also characters called the Ship Cladara, who is a scientist. Yes, a scientist. He's actually a station called the Think Tank, which it's only in this one story. And we also have this creature in this story known as a Karg. Yeah, it's this weird glop of a creature who's only in this one story. Now you might be thinking, because I keep basically claiming I really want to see like a return of like various, how should I put this, like various monsters from Classic Who. Do I want this to return? No! Because it looks freaking awful. Like, there's no personality, it's just grunts. The Yeti I wouldn't mind seeing return, but not these creatures. Oh no. I'm glad they want to see one story because Yeti are really awesome creatures. While in the case of this one, no, not interesting. They pop a few times, basically, and they take it out very easily by simply tripping over them. So, they also basically have where they have this one room where Chris Pierce takes his book, which apparently is a Gallifreyan artifact. How it got here is that Peters brought the thing with him when he left Gallifrey by accident. And he took it to the recorded archive. Why did he do this? No one Gallifrey cared about ancient history, so he took it away. I'm like, really? Yes, really. Excuse me. By the way, this book becomes a plot point for the first portion of this thing. Into the Navy gets his hands on it, reads it, kind of uses it for a bit to find Shada because he wants to find this particular genius of a criminal. And there is something about the professor where he's kind of a mysterious character. Like, at one point he gets his brain drained by him when he shows up. Later on, he just dies. And then he comes back because of the TARDIS. Because they kind of died in the TARDIS. Oh yeah, he says he evaporated because he was probably in the regeneration cycle. And it turns out he's going to come back anyways. It's weird. We also see the TARDIS actually move on the outside. It's not like a building. It's a freaking door. Yes, it is a door. Why the heck is it a door? I don't know. It's one of the most strangest things. It's almost like they just really like this room. And I do love the exchange of dialogue. We have the Doctor, Claire, Chris Peters, the Professor, and Romana all sitting around having tea. I thought this was a really fun scene. This, of course, comes later in the story. I'm going to kind of jump back and forth for this one. Now, in case you're curious, though, Does the main villain, does he find the prison Shada, which apparently is built into an asteroid for some reason, and it's explained that anybody now apparently this is forgotten by all Time Lords, and the criminal they get there, and they free some random criminals for this one. Now, in case you're curious though, do they identify who the heck these criminals even are? Well, the prisoners are Lakita Borga, Boniki, Lady Macbeth, Salome, Electrocutioner, Rasputin, Nero, a gladiator, Genghis Khan, some space monsters. That's what it was originally to be, but these prisoners do not speak at all. Nope. They just got their mind drained, and, well, they don't do much of anything, and of course they are using zombies, and of course they... Romana, the one thing I don't like about the story, she's basically being dragged around. It would seem at some points, basically, as close as he is, I'm surprised he basically wasn't that sadistic to rip Romana's clothes, given the fact he could have basically had the opportunity to do it if he wanted to, but nope, he doesn't. He doesn't do it at all. Why do I think so? It's not the case of the live action footage per se, it's not like that. It's more the animation that picks it. It's like basically it's like so close to her. It's like if this wasn't basically death from used material, it would be shocking to see the main character, the main villain, try to attempt to rape one of Doctor's companions. Yes. My guess is probably the reason why that's never happened in Doctor Who, where one of the companions, the female companions, gets nearly raped by, let's say, a villain of the story or some monster. It would look pretty bad in Doctor Who to depict the scene of rape. Yes, it would look very bad on their part. Romana, it seems as though, like, when it becomes animation, now the Doctor looks perfectly fine, both animation and live action footage. It's Romana that's drastically different. It's like, here's the thing. Layla Ward at the time was a very beautiful woman. I know she's much older now, but damn, she was very beautiful. In the animation, she just seems like interesting looking woman. Claire at least looks like a very beautiful woman, both in the animation and even in the live action footage. It's Romana they drastically changed. Not sure why she looks so different. Why everyone else looked virtually the same. But yet, either they couldn't get the rights to her, they just couldn't get the way her cheeks move or whatever. But it just was kind of weird. So, they do in fact, the Doctor defeats the villain. He, of course, goes off in his little ship, which is transformed into a mini, basically a TARDIS. Yes, it's made into a TARDIS. Excuse me. And if you're curious, though, with the exception of the webcast thing, which I'll get to maybe in another time, does Shada appearing in Doctor Who? Nope. Does the main villain? Nope. Do the creatures? Nope. They only give us this one story, and that is it. Yeah. Do I like the restore footage? The anime footage? Yes, I really enjoyed it. It's just that the only character I felt as though didn't work in this footage was Romana. Yeah. It's like basically you look at Romana compared to her in her live action footage. It's like you're seeing a completely different person. Yeah, her face is just so different. It's like how hard was it to animate her face? Like how hard is it to look her face like the live action actress? At least Tom Baker looks like the way he does. Mm-hmm. It's kind of this, like, look at this. Like, here's Tom Baker in the animation in the back, and there's him in live action. You can tell by looking at it, it seems like they really did their homework comes to him, but not Romana. They don't show her what she looks like here. Yeah. But this, I kind of felt this will be quite interesting for what it is. Would I recommend it to Doctor Who fans? Go ahead, check it out. Is it important Doctor Who history? Yes. Yes, it is. It just seems as though it was probably supposed to be part of a season, but not really. And it's also weird, though. We have this picture of Romana where she's basically like this. Now, yes, she does lay like this at the beginning of the story, where she's leaning in a boat where the Doctor is rowing. That's the first time we see Doctor and Mana. They're not in the TARDIS. They're in a boat. A boat that's normally seen in Venice. Me. Yes. Now, you might be curious though. If you see the scene where they do this, you've probably seen it before. In the Five Doctors, because Tom Baker was not available to do that one, because he was the only Doctor who could not come back aside from the original. The reason why, because he felt it was too soon to come back as Doctor. Oh, I should also mention when the story ends, you don't see regular Tom Baker at the end of the story. Oh no, it's old man Tom Baker playing the Doctor. Though a different shirt, mind you. But I always love seeing Tom Baker. And it's interesting we hear Romano's voice. It's like, okay, we can see old man, we can see the way Tom Baker looks nowadays, but we can't see Romana? That makes no frickin' sense. Yeah. But it is a very interesting one. Just check it out. See how curious you are about this one. I would recommend just the not the one with Tom Baker narration. That might be interesting for some people to watch. But I prefer this one because this one feels like a complete story. Yep. And you might be curious though. Have I reviewed all of the animation ones they've actually done for Doctor Who? I think I've reviewed almost all of them. Let's see if we can find it here. Basically, there's a page that goes straight to. Here we go. The animation collection. Okay, so. So, the ones I have seen. Now, I've seen almost all the ones they have done for. In the case of Second Doctor, as far as I can tell for him, yes, I've seen all the ones that he's done. The only ones I've not seen are the three for the first Doctor. Reign of Terror, Galaxy 4, which was a surprising one. They actually released this one just after The Abominable Snowman. That was actually the second most recent release. The last one was released was Abominable Snowman. Yeah. So I got about 3 more left to go. But I'm happy that I got this one done. Now, I would love to see more, but it all depends upon the studio who makes it. Yes. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Tickler View. Next up is going to be a couple Comic Corners, and I might get something with another Doctor Who video. Who knows? Okay, next video. Bye.